Welcome back to the show. This is episode 99 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Welcome back, everybody. That's right. Tomorrow, Mike, is the big day. 700, Two Dumb Yinzers. I can hardly believe it. How you doing today, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. God, like I was telling you off air, I had a bad migraine all day. Took a nap before the show. I'm feeling good now, man. I'm ready to go.
Oh, man. Is your migraine, had it gone away, or is it still...
It's gone away. There's a little tinge right there in the front, but, it's gone. It was like just a whole thing in the front. The pressure, the barometric pressure, which you can read on the top of the screen, was really high compared to what it normally was. And this is every time that happens, where there's a big pressure change, my head gets knocked out. And I'm good, man. I slept, had a little sandwich before we got on here, so I'm good to go.
Well, let's hope it doesn't hold you back.
Oh, it won't.
Be on the right track with your migraine. A lot of things to talk about today. Just let me set a couple things up here, and then I'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
A lot to talk about today, honestly. I was kind of concerned yesterday. I thought, wow, what is there going on? We have the Combine starting on Thursday. I know we'll talk about that. But you know what? As life has it, things just keep popping up. Always keep things interesting. And I'll start off today with the chance that we, the Two Dumb Yinzers, are going to have to make money because we, Mike, well, let me paint the picture, would you?
Paint the picture. I want to hear this.
So yesterday we get off of doing the show, and I seen one of my favorite, and I didn't even realize she was one of my favorite actresses. But once I realized who it was, I thought, oh, I really like her. Was that Michelle Trachtenberg? Now she was the chick on Eurotrip, the twin.
Yes.
Okay.
The worst twins ever.
The worst twins ever. And I didn't realize it. I just thought that, it said she was on Buffy. She was on the
she was on a lot of stuff.
Gilmore Girls. And once I realized who it was, I got really bummed out because I like that chick. I like her a lot, actually. So she ended up passing away. So, all right, things happen. And then last night, in the middle of the night, I'm watching my Sanford and Son, and I see that Gene Hackman dies.
Yeah.
The actor, at 95 years old. For one, I'm not surprised. They said there was no foul play. But him and his wife and his dog were all dead. I don't know what the answers are yet, but there's got to be some answers. But Mike, this always leads us to an opportunity to make money here on our show. That's right.
Yes. Oh,
we know that we have two deaths. Now, we had our 3 in Pittsburgh last week. So we now have our 2 actor deaths, which opens up the door for something we haven't done for a long time here on the show, was the death poll, Mike.
Yes.
So this gives us an opportunity to participate in the deaths of celebrities. So, of course, yesterday with Michelle Trachtenberg and also Gene Hackman, Mike, again, this doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, we got to take advantage.
But it happens in threes.
It always happens in threes. So before we do get started today, Mike, I have to get your pick on your death pool of who you think is going to be the third person who's going to finish off the trifecta, the hat trick, if you will, in the celebrity death pool of the week, Mike. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen within the next. You know what? I'm going to say a couple days, but watch. We'll get off the show today, and it'll happen today.
Yeah.
Whoever it may be. So, Mike, let's do a wager for $50 this time. I say $50 since it's the first of the year. If my guy hits, you pay me $50. If your person hits, I pay you $50. Mike, who's going to be the next celebrity to die?
See, celebrity, or are we going actor?
You could do anything.
Okay.
A known person is a celebrity.
A known person.
I got mine.
Man, there's a lot to choose from here. Man, let's go Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates. That's interesting.
That's interesting because she's on that new Matlock. She, for her age, is looking good. All signs are, she's looking is healthy. I'm taking a wild card, taking a flyer here. I'm going Kathy Bates.
That is a wild card, but that's a good pick.
It's like me picking, in the when we do our football picks. Sometimes you have to go off the board to shake up the competition.
Well, we all know that your picking isn't the greatest, so I'll take that at face value. Mike, my pick for the death poll, again, if my person dies, you owe me $50. And if your person dies,
Yeah.
now it expires automatically once the next celebrity dies. So say Mike and I
Yeah.
both have a pick, and then Philip Seymour Hoffman dies, then it all resets. So assuming,
I like how you pick someone who's already dead.
well, you get the point. So Mike picks Kathy Bates. I am gonna pick. I already know my pick, Mike. I've seen this
Okay.
from a mile away. Big money. You might as well just write my check already. Mike picks Kathy Bates as his death pool. My pick, of course, I think this is an easy one. Pope Francis. Pope
Ah,
Francis,
God dang it.
who's already got one foot in the grave, the other foot in a pedophile pool, but nonetheless, he's got pneumonia, double pneumonia. One day he's sitting up, the next day they say he's
Yeah.
So my pick is Pope
That was a
Francis.
damn
Mike,
good pick.
you have Kathy Bates, so it's on, it's official
Mm-hmm.
as of right now, Mike. Pope Francis and Kathy Bates. And again, I'm sure as soon as we get off today, it's going to be somebody. We'll find out.
Yeah,
And
see, you took like the Travis Hunter of the death pool. He's a two-way threat, like you
yes,
said. And I kind of went off board. I took I reached on like a Will Howard to Jackson Dart in the first round. We're gonna see how this pans out.
but I don't think that you. I don't think that you have a bad pick, Mike. I don't. I think Kathy
No,
Bates is actually a pretty good pick,
yeah,
and
just
it's somebody that
she's been
nobody would
around.
think about for the death pool right
Yeah,
now. So
yeah.
that's
She's a
generally who
sleeper
gets it.
pick. She can
Yeah.
eventually. She has that potential to cash out.
So there you have it, everybody. It's official. The death poll is in for right now. Of course, Michelle Trachtenberg died.
Mm-hmm.
The actress from Euro Trip that I love. She died yesterday. Gene Hackman last night morning.
Yeah.
Death poll. Mike got Kathy Bates. I got Pope Francis. $50 on the line. Mike, let's see if one of us could finally land the death poll. We've been trying for years, but it's official. So it's on. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show again. This is episode 609. One show, just one show to go to the big 700 tomorrow. It'll be fun. We're gonna have Finch on. I'd love to have Derpy on for episode 700,
I
Mike.
know
But you know what?
it's not going to feel right without Derpy.
And it's really, and I got to tell you, Finch even texted us in our private chat today about Gene Hackman. He said Derpy better fix his alarm because who knows what. I don't know if it's official yet, but to me it seemed like it was carbon monoxide or
Yeah,
something like
that's what
that
I was
related.
reading too. Yeah, was carbon monoxide.
And I thought, and Finch had said it. He says Derpy better get that alarm fixed. So maybe that's
Yeah.
why he's sick anyway. I don't know.
I hope not. I hope not. I hope he gets better.
Good morning, Corey Beavers. How we doing today, sir? Corey says, good morning, fellas. Just saw the news that we may be interested in Alexander from Green Bay. Very realistic since he's on the trade block and we love to pay defense. Yeah. Imagine Alexander, Fitz, and Porter. Corey also says moving Jackson to slot and having Bishop as a backup. Slot, love the idea of it. A lot of things going on, a lot of speculation. Go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say I like Jair Alexander if he can stay healthy. He only played a handful of games last year, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 or 8 games last year. He missed games a lot of games in 2023. So he's been injury prone the last 2 years. If you can get him healthy and you can get him reasonably cheap, I would love the idea. But it's back-to-back years of injury concerns that scare me. If last year was the first year he was injured, I'm like, yeah, okay. Or the year before, okay. But back-to-back years scare me. But I had your initial thought too, like he would look great in the black and gold. I've always liked the way he played, but injuries, as you know, he's getting up there in age too, and back-to-back years. I'm not too sold on it just yet.
Guys, let me just start by saying today is the start of the combine, the NFL combine down over in Indianapolis today at 3:00 p.m. It's going to be defensive linemen, linebackers, and place kickers. 3:00 till 8:00 over on NFL Network. The NFL Combine starts today. Really excited about this. Goes through the weekend all the way through Sunday, guys. On tomorrow, it's going to be 3 to 9. 3 to 9 tomorrow. It's going to be defensive backs and tight ends. On Saturday, it's going to be 1 to 9. This is why I love the Combine. It's just on all the time. They should just play it 24 hours. Saturday, 1 to 9 is quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. And then on Sunday, 1 to 5 is the offensive lineman. So the we're at the combine, Mike. This is the first step along the way. After the Super Bowl's over, and you say I got 6 months till football, this is the first stepping stone along the way. So it's here today. We have defensive backs. Today we have today we have defensive linemen, linebackers, and place kickers starting at 3 o'clock till 8 o'clock on NFL Network. I know that I'll be watching. Corey also says I have a bias because my buddy played Madden with him while was in college. Cool guy.
That's awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things we got to go over today, Mike. Of course, the report card came out yesterday. I don't know if I'm shocked. I think that I am shocked, and I'll tell you why. Also, Mike, every mock draft I'm seeing has Ashton Genty all the way in the 20s. I want to know, Mike, do you see no running backs being taken before 20 in the NFL draft this year? That'll be something we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Also, a little bit of a few comments by our boy Silverback, the great James Harrison here in Pittsburgh, talking about Coach Tomlin and other things. So I want to get into all this, Mike, today. Plus, we do have the Philadelphia Flyers tonight in a chance to get them guys back after beating us the other night. A lot of stuff going on today, everybody. Welcome aboard. Again, this is episode 609. And tomorrow, everybody, big 700. 700, Mike, just 300 away from the big 1,000. Good morning, Mark Malone. Good morning, my friend. I was thinking about Mark Malone this morning when he was talking about we were talking about him and Neil O'Donnell yesterday or the other day. I was just thinking of that conversation. It was making me laugh because remember somebody was like, "What if Mark Malone is actually Neil O'Donnell, and Neil O'Donnell is on the other end of his handle here is Mark Malone, and they're just effing with us?" And it made me chuckle last night. But nonetheless, welcome everybody. Good morning. 28 of 32. The Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the great franchises in the NFL. There's no debate. Everybody pretty much will tell you that. But when the report card comes out every year, as it did yesterday, we improve slightly.
Yes.
We land, Mike, we are the 28th out of 32. 28 out of 32. I'm going to go through the categories and the grades here in just a second. But this is voted on by players. The players get to do this. It is what's it called? I don't know.
It's just like a survey, like more or less like a work, like a work survey.
NFLPA survey, I believe is what it's called. And it's interesting to me. All right, let's get into it. So the report card comes out, Mike, and we'll go over a little bit more. But this is the idea. Out of 32 teams, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they grade 28th. And it was decided by these categories. Treatment of family, Mike, we got a C this year. 26th. We're 26th out of 32 in treatment of family, the Pittsburgh Steelers are. I wonder what are the people that get an F in treatment of family? Like, what are you doing to the families that you're getting bad grades?
I know, right? I know,
what do you have
the
to do?
Steelers. Yeah, I know the Steelers improved because they introduced like daycare, but like the players still kind of want like a room for like the family. So after the game, you can meet your family there. You don't have to muddle around and search and find them. Like little things like that players want. So like you said, what are teams that have like an F in that category? What are they doing? They have them out corralled out back somewhere.
Yeah, right. Also, Mike, second on the list is food and dining. We got a B this year. We did get a B, 21st out of 32. So, I mean, granted, it's a B, but still, 21 out of 32. You're still in the bottom third. Next on the list is the Steelers nutritionist and dietitian. They got a C plus. However, that lands them 30th on the list out of 32. 30 on their nutritionist and dietitian. Locker room. This one's always interesting to me. The locker room. They got the Steelers in this poll survey, I guess, if you will. A D. Again, like the treatment of a family when you're
Yeah.
getting a failing grade. What exactly goes on to make a failing grade of a locker room? I mean, they make them sit in all 53 guys in an outhouse while they wait to play. What's the deal to have a D in your locker room, Mike? And that lands them at 27. Go ahead. Looks like you got
I was
something.
gonna say it's got to be like a really cramped locker room is what I've heard. Like it's like a really small locker room. Like you're more or less like up on top of each other. Or you look at some other facilities in their locker rooms, like you got a lot of space to move and
Just in
breathe.
case you want
Or there
to
it's just cramped. Yeah,
just in case you need a hula hoop while you're waiting to play the game, I
you
guess you
know.
need your space. Also, the training room. The training room. The Steelers get a C plus. Mike, they scored a C plus on the training room. I can't imagine what more you could add to a training room, but I'm sure they'll get more weights or something like this. But a C plus, Mike, 25th overall
Yeah.
on the training room. That's not even the weight room. That's just the training room. Hold on. The weight room is next on
Oh,
the
okay.
survey.
I know the
Well,
training
well,
room
let
was
me
because
let
like
me finish my
yeah.
sentence, and
All right,
then
I'm sorry. Yeah,
no,
go
you're
ahead.
good. And then in the weight room, Mike, it's even worse. We got a
Yeah,
28. So this just proves my point even more. But C plus is in that as well, Mike. A C plus, but still 28 out of 32. Go ahead.
yeah. The training room. I'm sorry, I forgot. That was the like needing like more hot tubs and whirlpools for like the the for treatment and stuff like that. That was one of them because I saw like a guy who used to play at Pitt and played in the NFL. I think it was Doran Dickerson. He's like, yeah, I used to have guys come over and use my hot tub because the Steelers didn't have enough. So yeah, I can see why it kind of went down. Why it's low. They don't have enough hot tubs to go around.
Training staff. Training staff, Mike.
Hmm.
They get a B. They're 18. Now we're moving up. 18. We're in the
Yeah,
teens at least.
yeah,
18 out of 32 is where our training staff sits. Strength coaches. I love this one.
yeah,
They get a C minus. However, the strength coaches for the Steelers, 32 out of 32.
yeah.
How is this even possible?
Like we got a new training staff and we went down. We because we
You
had a
should have
bad
kept the old
report
training
last
staff.
because we had a bad report. And they're like, all right, hey, we're going to get a new training staff, strength coaches, and stuff like that. And then boom, this is what happens. They,
32.
like you said, they should have just kept it the same.
After we had the number 18 and we got a B in the training staff, I thought the strength coaches might be
Coaches,
good.
yeah.
Coaches, they're last.
Well,
Mike,
we
dead
need a good
last.
we need to have a better training staff because our strength coach isn't that good.
Right.
Guys are getting hurt. The training staff's got to be there ready to go.
Team travel. Team travel next on the list.
Yeah.
We're actually mediocre. This is let me think. This might be the highest grade we have from what I see to this point.
Yeah, to this point, yep.
A B plus with the team travel. Team travel, Mike. B plus, and it's 15 overall, slightly past the
Yeah,
50% mark. So
yeah.
the team traveling is good. The family back at waiting for the team, no good.
No good.
Also, ownership. Ownership gets a D, which is 28th overall. Now here's the kicker.
Mhm.
Everything sucks in Pittsburgh. let,
Yeah.
let me let me start by saying this. Everything sucks in the Pittsburgh organization, but the voters happen to think that Mike Tomlin is an A in his 7th overall out of 32.
Yeah.
Who now what players do this? Is it all the players?
It's every single player on the roster, top to bottom.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Everyone talks good about him, but again, you see the results. Mike, listen, these grades aren't great, but you know what? They're not terrible. We are 32 in some things. Overall, we're 28 of 32. However, our head coaching situation would tell you that we should be doing great things in this because the other things I got to tell you, the dining room, the dining area, and the food don't mean shit to the on-field product. The daycare doesn't mean shit to the on-field product. Some things do more than others. Maybe having a small locker room messes with the psyche. I don't know how that results in bad product. But at the end of the day, Mike Tomlin, not the only thing on this list that gets a terrible grade. Mike, again, a lot of 28s,
Yep.
32s. 30s, 27s. But yet, Mike Tomlin, our head coach, we got an A. Um, me personally, I think it's just some more of the same bullshit that we've been getting over all the years. An A, an A. Mike, with all the bad grades on here for things that probably don't matter, our head coach got an A.
This just tells me that the head coach is keeping this thing together. If we're looking at
Everything
the score,
except for the team because we cannot win a playoff game. I mean, does this stuff
it,
even matter when it comes down to it?
the dietitian,
No, I'm
nutritionist,
talking
and
about the
food.
coach Tomlin getting the A, the being the 7th best overall, and this is what
Nah,
I'm talking about.
no.
We don't, Mike. We don't win
I mean,
important games. It's nothing to be
like,
a regular season champion.
yeah,
That means the Cleveland Browns are outperforming us this tenure of
yeah,
the NFL. That's what that
yeah,
tells me.
yeah. I mean, like the Minnesota Vikings coach got an A+, and they got bounced in the first round
Well,
as well.
but they won 15 games. I
Yeah,
don't have a problem with that. If we
uh,
could win 15 games, I would be okay.
yeah. Like the Miami Dolphins coach got an A+, and
They're
they didn't
ridiculous.
even
I'll
make
get
the
to them in a
playoffs.
minute.
Yeah, they didn't even make the playoffs. So it's like
I'll get
it
to
is
them in a minute.
subjective. It's subjective on how the coaches treat you and stuff like that. So yeah, it's gonna be. It's I don't know. A lot of these grades are subjective. Some of them like they do matter. Like the training staff, the strength coach,
And those are the ones
the
I didn't
food
throw in on
and
purpose
nutritionist.
because I
Those are
know
the
they
ones that
matter.
really matter. But yeah, but like like you
Have you
said, like
noticed I said the dining room, the
yeah,
daycare,
yeah.
the those things, Mike, they don't matter in the
To
course
the
of,
on-field part, yeah, yeah. But like
and that's all
it's
again
just
all I
weird.
care about is a fan.
Yeah,
Whether they're comfortable or whether their kids get 3
yeah.
snacks, none of that stuff matters to me. But as I'm looking at these
Back to the
grades,
snacks.
it just really, again, Mike,
Yeah,
I would expect the top 10 to be filled with teams that got something good going on for them.
yeah,
Again, we haven't won advanced a round in the playoffs for almost a
yeah.
decade. People seem to forget this. Um,
And
yeah, go on.
like Kansas City ranked 26th. They were just competing for their third Super Bowl in a row.
And again,
So
Miami sits way at the top, and with their, what's going on in Miami.
yeah, and then the Raiders, they're fourth, Chargers fifth. You're looking at teams that didn't make the playoffs or like the Steelers, one and done in the
So apparently,
playoffs.
teams with nice locker rooms, it doesn't affect anything.
Yeah, if you have like shittier locker rooms, it seems to be the higher score, like the better you do on the field. You at least
Um,
make the playoffs with shitty locker rooms. Because like the Eagles finished 22nd and they just won the Super Bowl. So what? Teams 22 and 26 made the Super Bowl.
what did they finish 22nd in?
The Eagles in this grade, they were 22nd overall in the grading of this
Overall?
survey. Yeah, and they won the Super Bowl. So you notice like the teams that are more or less towards the bottom, a lot of them did a whole hell of a lot better in the playoffs than these teams in the top rankings.
Let me get Mark here real quick, and then I'm gonna get on this list because I'm just baffled. And the reason I'm baffled is because Mike Tomlin got an A. I mean, come on, even if you're being honest with yourself, whether you're trying to, stick with your agenda, whether you or you're, I think if you're being honest with yourself, I think that would be safe to say that Mike Tomlin's not an A. Whether you agree that he's doing well, not well, whatever the situation, but an A. I don't know, but let me get to Mark here for a couple of these, Mike. Mark Malone says the Roonies have KFC and watermelon for the family members. Pretty inconsiderate, though I would dig it. I didn't know that, but that does seem kind of bizarre.
That just
Also,
sounds awfully kind of racist saying that about a team that has a bunch of black guys on it.
well, I don't care what color the guy is, Mike. The NFL is full
Yeah.
of black people, so I mean that really doesn't mean anything. But
Oh, yeah, that's an office, like a typical trope right
well,
there.
I don't know that to be true, so I can't, Mike, I can't
Yeah.
accuse them of this. But we do have to let's see what Mark has to say next. He says, then they're just wandering around the friggin' field on Sunday like they're lost. Okay, I missed one. Well, of course they do. Mike Tomlin never makes them work. Mark also says, hell, if I had a job where I went in to collect a check, I'd give my boss an A too. He also says free cocaine in Miami. Maybe that's why things are so happy in Miami a lot of times.
Get that, good old Peruvian marching powder. Hell yeah.
Corey Beaver says the players seem to run the locker room. There's zero consequence when they don't perform. If you're a seasoned vet and you get away with everything, your job remains safe. No accountability. I agree. That kind of goes into something I talked about the other day, but I didn't want to spark anything on the show. Also, Corey says Matt Canada is proof of that. It took the team forever to let him go, and that's because the stadium erupted with Matt Canada sucks chance in the game. Let's jump on this list, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't want to get into, especially, yeah. Let's go into this list, Mike. Top of the very list with all A's across the board. I'm talking about all A pluses, not even just A's.
Yeah.
This team got all A pluses. Number one on the report card, Mike, the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, that's wild.
A plus coach, A plus owner, A plus food, A plus travel, A plus weight room, A plus treatment of the family. This is what tells me these kind of things are just goofy and
Yeah.
inaccurate. Number two on the list, Mike, which again, this team had pretty good success. I would take their success that they had this year in a heartbeat. Minnesota, A plus in coaching, A plus in owner, A minus in food, A in travel, A minus in weight room, and an A plus in treatment of family. Minnesota, Mike, number two. They do got good things. They're moving in the right direction. I
Yeah.
think that I could agree with what's going on. Number three on the list did pretty well as well, but not on the field. I think I made fun of this team ample times during the season. The Atlanta Falcons, A plus in coaching, A plus. I mean, come on, all these coaches got good grades. Maybe I shouldn't be complaining. A in travel, A in food, A plus in weight room, and B plus treatment of family. I'm sorry, I jumped down to Las Vegas. So anyway, they get good grades as well. As you said, Mike, number four being Las Vegas, and they get good grades the whole way across, all A's, and then a B plus in the treatment of family, and then the top five rounds out with the Chargers. So, Mike, apparently, if you want to be treated like a king in the NFL, it's best to
Yeah.
be on one of these five teams: the Dolphins, the Vikings, the Falcons, the Raiders, or the Chargers. According to this list, is where it is.
Yeah.
That's the place to be. Apparently.
And what? One of them made, or two of them made the playoffs, and they both lost.
And they both lost quick.
Yeah, and then you got the two Super Bowl champions down in the 20s.
So this is where it's to be, I guess. This is the place to be. Good morning, Ron on the board. Nice seeing you, my friend. So let's just kind of go through the next five here. Houston, Green Bay, San Francisco, Detroit, and Dallas. They round out the top 10. All good grades as well. I'm looking through them. I see nothing lower than a B minus. Those five teams, all A's, B's, B minus being the lowest. And that comes down to the Dallas travel. So, I mean, all generally good things going on with those five. Number 11 through 15 be Washington, New Orleans, Baltimore, Chicago, and Seattle. That rounds out the top half of the league. Let me give you one more to make it even. 16, Tennessee. And in these five, Mike, all still good grades. Top half of the list. Now we're getting to the teams that apparently you don't want to play for if you like luxury, I guess. Number 17, I'm sorry, Denver, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, and the Giants. That rounds out the top 20. 21, the Rams, the Eagles, the Bills, Cincinnati, Carolina, and then KC. So this seems like the area to be right here. If you have these kind of conditions at your stadium, this is where it's at, because Philadelphia and Kansas City are both in this this list, and these two make the Super Bowl. So whatever they're doing. Number 27, Tampa Bay. So there's five teams left in the yearly report card, the survey. Number 28, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Slight improvement from last year, Mike.
We're improving, baby.
We are improving. And you know what? I made a mistake. It's a D. No, it's just a D. I thought it was a D plus for the owner. It's a D.
It's a D. It was a flat out D.
Just a flat D. Then we got four teams left. And these four teams generally don't surprise you. They just seem like they're bad at everything these days. The Jets, the Browns, the Patriots, and the Cardinals. Yes, that's right. There's F's in there. Go all the way down. I mean, Arizona, look at this. Well, they have an A in coaching. They have an A in coaching.
That guy got an A in coaching?
That's what I'm saying. Come on.
That weirdo?
This is just the opinion of guys that have to say nice things about you because they work with you, in my opinion. But anyway, Arizona got an A for coaching, D minus for an owner. I mean, the owner's got to be terrible, right? Food is D minus. What are they making these guys eat for a D minus in food? I just put dog food on their plates. In Arizona, don't go there. Also, Mike, a D minus. Okay, that was in food. Travel's a B. New England has an F in travel. They make these guys ride their bikes the city to city.
Remember the airplane from Major League?
Yeah.
Sitting there, that's what they got. That's what they're flying around in.
Also, Mike, the weight room for Arizona is an F, as New England. What are they? What,
I think
how?
you gotta have some raggedy ass weight equipment and some outdated
Mike,
lifting machines and shit.
it isn't like New England hasn't been good for
Well,
20 years in a row
yeah.
where you get money and bonuses and
Oh fuck
incentives
yeah.
and paying for new things and buying new stuff
Yeah.
and Mike an F.
You got to figure like a lot of these dudes, if you're coming from top flight D1 schools, like your weight rooms are state of the art and they're updated constantly more than the NFL. So it has to be a culture shock and stuff like that. Going like coming from like Alabama or Ohio State to one of these teams, it has to be a culture shock of because Ohio State basically in those big programs, all they do is funnel all their money in there. And we're, New England and Arizona, they're funneling money into the owners' pockets. College, man, they're just spending on these guys nonstop. So yeah, it's a little shock to them, I bet.
Mike,
I
finally,
guarantee you, if I walk into New England's weight room, I would be impressed.
and here's one for you, Mike. Finally, the Arizona, they're 32 overall. I don't think that's any surprise. D plus for treatment of their family. They must beat the kids or something. while dad's at practice. D plus. I mean, you know what I mean? You're sitting around filling a thing out for work, and it says, "How is the way we treat your child when you're working?" You're like, I got to give this a D. Yeah, what's going on? What is going on? Good morning, Jen. Mark Malone says Houston has a great massage staff. Absolutely, we know that to be.
Yeah.
We know this to be true. Top five. I mean, let's see. Corey Beaver says none of them have a Super Bowl either. Right? Sounds like comfortability is not a recipe for champions. Mike, as odd as that is to say, that seems to be the case as far as the teams that we're talking about today: Kansas City, Philadelphia, all being near the bottom, and Miami's and Las
Yeah.
Vegas and Atlanta all being toward the top. But yeah, let me move on. Good morning,
Yeah.
Ninja Joe, as well.
What up? What up?
Great to see you this morning, sir. So there you have it. That is the list, Mike. The survey, the NFLPA survey. Miami, very, very comfortable. Apparently, A plus for everything. Treatment of family, weight room, travel, food, trainers, owners, coaches. Everything is good in Miami, except for the football team. So that's what these things tell you. Miami is the very best. So do what you want with that, Mike.
Nah. Oof, no. F Miami. Real quick, only 3 teams had coaches rated below a B. I don't think this would be a shock to anyone. Cleveland, Jacksonville, and Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. What are they even? What are they on? What are they at?
I don't have their overall grade, but that's like their lowest grade is a C. Was their coach. Everything else is like A's and B's.
Mark Malone's talking about my injury. Oh wait, no, he's talking about Watson's injury. He says Watson always had that pesky cramp in his schlong. I seen. I just automatically thought it was me, Mike. But this kind of leads. This kind of leads into what I was saying. I watched a James Harrison video yesterday, and James Harrison was talking about the difference between playing for Bill Belichick and Mike Tomlin. Now, I think the area of the road that you and I usually get tripped up on here, Mike, is the wording, is the vernacular, because the word is always used discipline. Now, what I think, what throws us off here on the show is that word sometimes, because Harrison goes into explanation saying it doesn't mean guys are running around the locker room smacking each other in the asses and doing pranks. It just means how well the coach prepares and expects the player to go out and perform his duties on Sunday. And this is something that Bill Belichick was great at. Great. He's a mind guy. You could tell he walks around, he whispers something and real low. He goes away and the guy throws for, does 300 yards that day. And this is what Silverback said. He said, don't get me wrong. He says, Coach Tomlin's a good coach, but the discipline is the difference between the two coaches. Of course, Harrison goes to play in New England, wins a Super Bowl while he was up there. So I kind of thought of that, Mike, and I thought of you, and I thought you and I don't, it's not that we don't see eye to eye. I think it's just a vernacular. I really do, because I think once you put the word discipline in, it makes people that their minds go different directions sometimes. And I think it was a really healthy. When I heard it and it was explained, I thought that's the best way to
Yeah,
explain it. It's
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what
I
I
know what
mean.
you mean. It's
Just
like the little things.
yeah, sweating the
Yeah,
small stuff, right?
yeah. That's how.
So that
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
very
I saw that
it was
too. He was
really
on
interesting.
what like the I think that's when he was on the pivot with Ryan Clark and the guys. He was talking about
I believe so.
I
Yeah.
saw bits and pieces of that too, and I saw that segment as well. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like hearing him describe
Um, Justin Tugger,
it. He's up to
Ron
17
Steelers
now.
coach should be. I got to tell you though, Ron, I don't disagree, but I don't think he's an F as much as I don't think he's an A either. I think he's somewhere in the middle. I'd really have to sit down and put thought into where I would put him. Um, but I don't think he's the worst either. I think he does something right. There's something that keeps people coming to Pittsburgh saying, I want to play for Coach Tomlin. Um, but let me see what Corey says. Corey says, do you think the vets haze Tomlin? What if he's getting bullied? Send help. That's why, yeah, that's why they're getting all these big, tall guys so
I like
they could pick on
like
Mike
Tomlin's
Tomlin.
fallen into that trap of like you see this like with a lot of coaches in other sports that have been in place for a while. Like the
It's
no, it's
stagnant.
stagnant and like with their veterans. Like, hey, you're gonna get like this day off because I know the wear and tear on your body. You need that day, and those guys get it. And then is that sending resentment further down the roster? Or like guys like, hey,
Possibly.
why are they getting a day off and I'm not? Hey, they had a bad game. I'm practicing harder because I had a bad game. And they didn't. But like, hey, you get to a certain point, you got to treat your veterans a little bit better sometimes in that
Mike, were
situation.
you okay? Let me ask you this. If you were in school and the kids who got
Hmm.
A's on a test were allowed to go out and play on the playground, but the kids who didn't get A's weren't allowed, are you okay with that? Because that's,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Kind of what's
yeah.
being said.
I was because that would made me want to work harder to get that
Well,
treatment.
let's just say,
Yeah,
okay,
that's how like they
go
got it.
ahead.
Like, oh, that sucks, but why did they get it? Like, I'm gonna go and do it so I can be that kid going out there and having fun.
Because kind of where I was going the other day, Mike, was, uh, and I don't want to leave it open ended. You don't, you're a veteran and you don't want to practice. You don't practice. If you're a pro athlete and you don't like the team you're on, you just go
Yeah,
somewhere else. If you don't like the political views, just don't go. Everything is just this. Just don't
yeah,
go. There's no. You see
yeah,
what I'm saying? With the White House, I don't think that it should be anything political because if that was the case, every year somebody may have a problem with a president, no matter which way it goes. So that kind of messes things up for me. It's you're the best team, you're the best players in the United States at this sport. It's an honor, and go to the White House, get celebrated. You don't have to like the president. I don't, you know what I mean? Again, if that was the case,
yeah.
everybody every year would have a problem with this president, that president. I'm just saying, it's so easy for these guys to go. I don't want to do this, so I'm just not going to do this. And that's where I was going yesterday when I did use the word. Um, where
I
did I
can't
use? I
remember.
don't even know. Um, you
Yeah,
know
I
what I'm
know what you're
talking
talking
about
about.
there, the conversation
Yeah,
I'm talking about. So
yeah,
that's where I'm coming from, Mike. I
yeah.
just think that you got to at some point just go with the flow. You are in a very successful profession. You're a professional, and at some point you just got to say, all right, this is where we're at, and the world doesn't evolve around me because if 53 guys on every team just didn't want to do what they don't want
It'd
to
be
do
like
every day, we would have a total
two guys
disaster.
showing up. But
Yeah, so
yeah, but
that's all I
now
was
with like
saying, Mike.
yeah,
Accountability.
accountability. But back to
Accountability is
like
the word that I
the
was using.
veterans. Like I like Ben would always get his Wednesday off. I didn't have a problem with that because Ben would be able to miss practice.
If you're a future
Yeah,
Hall of Famer, Mike,
yeah,
I
like
say
and
yes, you
I
do
don't
get
have a
special
problem with
treatment.
like Cam getting the days off either because yeah, I know he disappeared.
If he performs,
He
I'm
yeah when
okay.
he performed, same thing with Watt. These guys have they disappear in the playoffs, but they have a cachet built up to where more or less when the lights are on during the regular season, they're going to be out there and producing. You want those two guys, Watt and Hayward, to be ready to go every Sunday. I'm okay with that. Now, George Pickens wanting a day off? No, fuck you. You need to be out there working. Broderick Jones, you need to be out there every day. Herbig, you need to be out there every day. Maybe 5 years down the line, if you're still here producing on a high level, you can get that vet Wednesday off. that's something that should be earned, and some of the guys have earned it. And I'm just wondering, there probably is resentment from other players.
That's what I'm saying, Mike. You gotta,
You have to earn
yes.
it,
And P, I,
and if the
P says, is it in the?
no, I was going to
Go
say
ahead. I'm
those
sorry.
guys need to earn it, and the people, if they don't realize that it has to be earned, they need to be spoken to and like, hey, listen, this is a thing. This is a reward for continued hard work on and off the field, continued excellence on the field and off the field. To get this, you have to earn this. And I don't know if some of the younger guys understand that and think or I don't know, they might just be slacking off or some shit. I don't know.
I just think it's in
Yeah,
general in pro sports. I think the accountability. Again, just watch. I don't say I'm right, say I'm wrong. Just watch how this all plays out. And if this league turns into the NBA
yeah.
in 10 years, I'm going to be
Well,
pissed off. That's all I got to
you see it
say.
in hockey too. Like some, some
I
guys
know
are
you
like,
do.
and those are supposed to be like the toughest of the tough guys. Some of them are getting their days off that they want.
In
Yeah,
baseball, and once you make somebody rich
yeah,
and make them comfy,
yeah,
it's tough to
yeah,
work with them a lot of times. I would imagine. Um, Let's see. Corey Beaver says if you're losing games, no veteran rest days. If you're on a short week and need the wins, nobody should be resting. Can't compare if you're practicing. Again, you're going to be as good as
yeah,
you practice, and that's bottom line. If you don't know how to play cards, but you practice every day, you're
yeah,
going to get better. And if you continue to practice when everybody else stops, you're going to continue to get better. And in my opinion, it's just kind of something he's got to figure out
yeah.
amongst the team. And we got to get better. Is this the best route to do it?
It,
Uh,
yeah,
and make and your answer it gets graded and should
yeah.
be it gets seen on the
And the
field.
thing, like Corey, like I agree with you. You should be out there practicing, but at the same side, or a different argument would be like those older vets. You want them kind of fresher for the game, and then when you use up all their
I don't even
energy in practice, or you want them because in theory, those are the ones that should be the sharpest and ready to go, whether they practice or not. But it's showing those
and
two
whenever they
they're
come out on
not.
the field, let me let me debunk this a little bit because somebody like TJ Watt who needed the rest before the playoff game because he was an
Yeah,
older veteran,
yeah,
apparently one of
yep,
the 10 best players in the league, he gets no practice, he comes out
yeah,
and puts up a line
yeah,
of zeros. So, guys, this is you got to see what works, what doesn't work. Um, but let me get to a couple other things here, Mike. Let's move
yes,
forward. Of course, again, everybody, the combine starts today at 3 p.m. Defensive linemen, linebackers, place kickers, 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock on the NFL Network. Tomorrow, DBs and tight ends, that's 3 to 9. On Friday, Saturdays from 1 to 9. Quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. Sunday, offensive linemen from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. You could watch all these guys coming out of college, getting their workouts in, and getting ready for the draft. Mike, only a couple months away. It's coming. It's
hmm
coming quick. Mark Malone says, "Yeah, man, older DL, Hayward, Watt, let him sit." Let's see. I do at TJ Watt, Mike, his extension. Now, this is something I seen our local media
yeah.
talking about this morning. Is this anything that we should even be concerning ourselves with this offseason? TJ Watt's
Like
contract and
I
his.
see that was my big fear when we had all this money and the cap even increased even more is this is what the Steelers are going to do. They're going to waste a chunk of the money on him. Um, it
Yeah,
shouldn't affect this year's cap at all because he still has 2 years left unless they rework money and move money forward, which I hope they don't do. They extend them out. That's I'm sure and I'm hoping that Omar Khan's smart enough, and I think he is, to have voidable years in that contract where he'll finish out these two and maybe it works out to a 1 year extension. Sign like a 3 year extension, but you're only going to get all your money up front in 1 year. I'll be okay with that because these last 2 years on his contract are they're manageable, and this is going to be okay. That third one, put all the money in there in those last 2 years on a 3 year extension. He can be cut and gone and over with because by that point, I think he's going to be out of the league in 3 to 5 years. So they just give him a 3 year extension after these two, put all that money in year one, and just make it voidable. That because it won't affect the cap space this year. That's all I'm worried about. Don't fuck with the cap space this year.
Also, Mike, the Cleveland Browns GM insists the team has no interest in trading away
Ah,
Miles Garrett. Miles Garrett wants to go somewhere to
yeah,
win, but the owners insist that there's no interest in trading him. Mike, that was just the beginning again of these
Yeah.
rumors and stuff that we're going to start seeing moving forward. We have free agency coming up, a lot of stuff. So, Mike, you just don't know what you're hearing,
Yeah.
if it's true, if it's not. That's why we like to throw it out there, see what sticks. Again, no interest, according to the Browns GM, in Myles Garrett leaving the shit
That
city.
is, it's stupid on their part. Okay, he doesn't want to be there. Just you probably have like 28 other teams that would love to have him on their roster. I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling every fucking GM in the league. Hey, what do you think of Miles? What are you guys thinking? What would be a return package for you guys? What you be willing to offer up in terms of players and picks? And then I'm rebuilding my roster because you're not going to win right now. You don't have a quarterback. You don't even have enough money to go out and get a veteran starting quarterback because all your money's tied up in, Mr. Massage Parlor. Start selling off pieces to rebuild your team so by the time Deshaun Watson contract comes off the books, you have a team in place. Now would be the perfect time to sell Myles Garrett. He's still a highly productive player. Teams want him.
Oh, absolutely. Mike, on the right defense, this guy is amazing.
Oh God, I'd love to.
You put him in Philadelphia?
That's one of the rumors I'm seeing. It's because they're going to lose one of their edge rushers in Sweat. So, yeah, they're like, we'll call you up.
And ain't it ironic, Mike, that they're saying that this guy could go to Philadelphia, but the Steelers might get back Javon Hargrave. This is what the Steelers are doing different from Philadelphia. They're getting the Myles Garretts. We're bringing back the Hargraves.
Yeah, and I would love to have Myles Garrett on this defense. My God, you add him, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward. Then that's damn good fucking defense right there. I'd take it in a second. I hate the guy, but fucking tremendous football player. I have him on my team.
The only reason I hate him is because absolutely. I would take him in a second.
And just about like any other team would. I'm Cleveland. I'm kicking the tires on him, and I'm kicking the tires on some other vets as well. Like I'm doing another rebuild in Cleveland because you screwed up with the Deshaun Watson trade.
Mike, I get this. Cooper DeJean, white boy in Philadelphia. We're talking about the Eagles. A lot of people really piled on me this offseason because I didn't jump on the Cooper DeJean train. But you know what, Mike? Maybe I was wrong. Cooper DeJean, it was the 8th most targeted player in 2024 with 98 targets. He didn't allow a single touchdown, Mike, and was the highest graded of all DBs at 22 years old. Philadelphia just keeps keep falling backwards into roses. I don't understand it, Mike. Every time they touch something, certainly in these last few years, it's turned.
Like Howie Roseman is just a phenomenal GM, and like you said, everything he touches has been turning into gold. And a lot of the stuff is like just players falling into his lap. Jalen Carter falling down into the 9th spot. Okay, I'll take him. Quinion Mitchell falling down to where he did in the draft last year. Okay, I'll take him. Oh, okay. I guess I'll take one of the best corners available. And then get Cooper DeJean in round 2, because he fell into him in his laps. These guys were just falling into his laps, and he's like, okay, I'll take him. And he had a really good philosophy. I'm going to take the best guys from Georgia when they were, rolling through the SEC. Now he's like, I'm just going to take the best guys from the best teams that are just rolling. And it seems to be working for him. And he's building O-line and D-line. O-line and D-line. That's his philosophy.
It doesn't seem like it's not working either. So keep up the good work, whatever you're doing.
Weedle, the assistant GM of the Steelers, learned under Howie Roseman. So
I'm hoping. Let's see if we can make something turn to gold.
Let's see if him and Omar can. They learned from 2 of the best.
Mike, the triple A, 3 A's, AAA, what everyone likes to call them, the people that come and tow you if you break down on the side of the road. Mike, they announced there's an Ireland package for the game on September 28th where the Steelers play in Dublin. So yesterday we talked about the Steeler cruise with some Steeler players, but also, Mike, Triple A. Now, Triple A, they put it together package. I'm sure a lot of travel agencies are, but if you're looking forward to going to Ireland this fall to watch the Steelers play, they will have packages ready, Mike. I do see that as of right now. They're working on that there at Triple A.
I'd love to go over to that game, but I just hate.
I would love to be there. It's just the trip. I don't know how long.
Yeah, it'll be a long flight. Like
Hawaii was like Hawaii was 4 hours. Once you got off of
Yeah.
California, it was 4 hours from Cali to
See, I
Hawaii.
couldn't fly over a
People
body
don't.
of water. That would freak me out. Of being able to see
It's
land,
weird.
because I have this fear that I'm going to be eaten alive by sharks.
And
I
you
would be.
would.
I'd be the first to go. I'm going, but I would love to go to Ireland and just do all that fun stuff.
Yeah. That's a long time to be over the water. That's all I know. There's no saving you. As you said, if something goes down, there's no
Nah.
saving you in
Oh,
the middle
fuck
of the
no.
ocean.
Hell
I
no.
mean, for one, it's going to take people a million years to get there. For two, it's going to be tough to find you. For three, that's even if you don't get eaten in that period of
Or
time. You know what I
drowned.
mean? Or
Yeah.
drown, which I
Yeah.
just
And
think.
then, like, if you stay in salt water for too long, like, your skin can start falling off your body. No, I'm done.
Yeah.
No, I want to die on land, in a fiery
Especially with all the
Yeah,
plane
I want to die on
crashes.
land.
I
I
don't.
want to die on land. Okay.
If this was a quiet year as far as plane crashes,
Yeah. Sign me
I
up.
would entertain the
No.
thought at least. Jen says I can't be trusted with all that Irish whiskey. Mark says make it a package deal. That way they'd have to take on Mr. Sorschlong. And Corey's last comment was, I just think that when you're driven, the more you practice over resting, the more adrenaline and momentum you have going into a game. You're in the zone. Rest can make you soft and ruin. I agree, and I think that's I believe that's just true in everyday life. If you put your mind to it, you're going to do better. If you practice something, if you uh, hone your skills, I guess you're going to be better by nature. Mike, but let's see if I have anything else here in the NFL world before I do move on, because we are getting to that point in the show. A couple people talking about this Kenneth Grant
Yeah.
from Michigan, this defensive tackle. A lot of people are starting to talk defensive players really early this year. I don't know, guys. We have no offense. Keep that in mind. We have no offense. Yes, we do need to improve on the defensive line, Mike. And some of these people on this list that the Steelers are interested in certainly are defensive linemen. But again, at the end of the day, don't forget that we
I
can't
know.
score points, and that has to improve.
I want them to get a vet receiver in the draft, so if one of these D linemen drops, we can snag them, because there's good depth in round 2 for D line, but not for a receiver. So that's why I get one in free agency, or get the top flight receiver in round 1, and then get a second tier D lineman in round 2.
Mike, the Philadelphia Flyers are going to be in town tonight. But you know what? We should be happy as fans, because Mike Tomlin, he came out and said this. He expects the players to dig in down the stretch. This is what Coach Sullivan is saying. And I got to say, Mike, I'm feeling really good, because Coach Sullivan's saying that the players
they're going to dig in. And I asked this to one of the local hockey writers. I asked him on Twitter, like, why don't you guys ask the Penguins if they think Tomlin or Sullivan is a good coach? And like, oh yeah, they think he's a great coach, just has a bad roster. Also, he can only coach when he has an all-star team. He only has 4 future Hall of Famers on the team right now. Like, right? a good.
I mean, you had, and Mike, when they had Getzel, they weren't doing any better. He would be somebody that I would throw in the list of the best players.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You have to change your system up as a coach, but Sully still wants to keep coaching the same way. It works well when he has damn good players around him, players who can play that system, but he doesn't. Players to dig in. Come on, Sully. Your goalies are giving up like goals on the first shot so many times. It's your veteran defenseman players are having the same defensive lapses over and over and over again. Like, the only consistent thing you have is Crosby. After that, don't get me started on this team. But no, Sully, I don't like him anymore. He needs to go. Tomlin needs to go. Who's the Pirates? Who's the Pirates manager? He needs to go too.
8 years since either one of these teams had advanced a round in the postseason. That's big time trouble. In any other city, that's canned asses, in my opinion. We'll see how long they let it last, guys. One other thing here, Mike, the high school out here in Western Pennsylvania, the playoffs, they're down to the regional championships. And right here in our valley, Beaver Valley, the Aliquippa boys and girls, they both play on Saturday to try to win the Whippeal Championship gold. And the Blackhawk girls also from here in Beaver County, they're all going to play at the Pete in Oakland on Saturday. It's going to be all day. All the boys, girls, all the girls games are going to be at it to see who is the new WPIAL champion in each section. And as I said, 3 teams from right here out of Beaver County, the Aliquippa boys, Aliquippa girls, Blackhawk. I want to say good luck to all 3 of those teams. I wanted to make sure I got it in, because if I forgot tomorrow, I just want to make sure. But hopefully those guys get in there. Aliquippa is always a great team. The girls at Aliquippa, they're due. That's been a while for them, and the Blackhawk girls are usually pretty good. So again, good luck, everybody. Go bring home some gold, and then it'll be on to the state playoffs after that, Mike. But there are more teams from the WPIAL in there. These particular ones are just the people that live really closer to us. So good luck to all those players this Saturday. Go get that WPIAL gold. Mike, why don't you tell us what a little bit about this website?
The2dumyusers.com, everyone. We know what's over there at merch store, the links to every place you can listen and watch and read about me and Ryan. And then you got the blog. Remember, I got the second mock draft up there. I think guys who like the offensive side of the ball will really like the way the board fell this time in the mock draft. So check it out at the2dumyusers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumyusers.com. That's www.the2dumyusers.com. One thing I do forget to say, Mike, the Flyers tonight, 7:30 at Pittsburgh. Flyers come in with a 26-26-7 record to take on the Penguins, who have a 23-28-9. So they got to get on the right track here, Mike, if they're going to dig in
to tank to get a top 5 lottery pick. Just beat the Flyers because they're the Flyers. I don't care. We can, lose every game on the schedule from here on out as long as we beat the Flyers when we play the Flyers. That's the embarrassing thing. Like, we're getting embarrassed by the Flyers. No. The Flyers and the Capitals are 2 teams you should compete game in and game out against, and both teams have dog walked us recently.
Thank you to Over Enthusiastic Mod Caleb. Always appreciate the work you do on the board, my friend. Thank you. He does have the website there if you do want to just click on that
sir.
link. Mike, let's get into trivia time. This is a combine. It's a combine trivia today. Of course, the NFL Combine starts today. Mike, put on your thinking caps, everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here we go. This is the question of the day. This is the NFL Combine's 40th year. For 38 years, Mike, the Combine has been in Indianapolis. However, the first 2 years, 85 and 86, it was not. Can you name one of the 2 cities the first couple of years, Mike? These 2 years, these 2 cities. I'm looking for just one of these city names to have a correct answer. One more time, the NFL Combine is in its 40th year. For 38 years, it's in Indianapolis, but for the first 2, it was not. In 85 and 86, either of these 2 cities, Mike, would be correct. 2 different cities, one for each of the year. Take a minute to think that over. We're live right here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every day right here on YouTube. The question of the day is this. This is the Combine's 40th year for the NFL. It's the 38th year in Indianapolis. Can you name either city in its first 2 years where it was not in Indianapolis? That was 1985 and 1986. 2 different cities. Either one would make the answer correct. Mike, do you have any guesses?
I want to go with New York, one of the biggest cities around. Big media capital.
I'm gonna
go New York.
All right, Mike takes New York. Kathy Bates in New York, Mike. Those were your 2 picks today.
Solid. Are you confident? Solid answers.
All right. New York. Let me see the question of the day. The Combine is 40 years old this year. It's been in Indianapolis. This will be the 38th year, guys. I'm looking for either of the 2 cities that it was in prior to starting in Indianapolis. There was 2 years, 85 and 86. It fell in these 2 cities. I'm looking for either one of those cities for the answer. Mike says New York. Not a bad answer. Not a bad guess. I'll wait just a moment, see if anybody wants to throw a guess up on the board. I'll get Corey while we're doing that. He says you guys need tank tops of this screen cartoonized with a comic bubble of you burping. It would be hilarious and worth the purchase. If we know any artists out there, I certainly wouldn't turn it away. I think that would be funny. Over Enthusiastic Mod Caleb is the answer my Jim Palmer poster. You know what? It's funny. I thought about that off the air yesterday as well. What were you doing when you were thinking of the Jim Palmer? Well, I was in the grocery store, so don't.
So you
I
like
was
to
just
do things publicly. Okay. I again,
yes.
I
But anyway,
don't shame.
the Jim Palmer poster definitely popped up in my personal time, and my mind made me chuckle. Guys, let me get back to the question of the day. Is this the NFL Combine turns 40 this year? This is the 38th year that it's being held in Indianapolis. The question of the day is: can you name either of the cities that it was in prior to Indianapolis being 1985 and 1986? Mike says New York. Not a bad guess.
Never
Never
a
a
bad
bad
guess.
guess. I think if you guess New York,
Never
yeah.
bad guessing the Big Apple.
The answer to the question, both of the cities, the two that it was before Indianapolis, Mike, one was New Orleans, and the second, Corey says, I don't know why, I want to say Atlanta. The first is New Orleans, and second is Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
Phoenix. The
Wow.
NFL Combine was in New Orleans and Phoenix in 85, 86. Then it got switched over to Indianapolis, and it stayed there for 30. This is the 38th year, 40th year overall. So, again, guys, NFL Combine starting today, 3 p.m. You have defensive linebackers, defensive linemen, linebackers, and place kickers today, 3 to 8. Tomorrow, defensive backs, tight ends, that's 3 to 9. Saturday, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, that's 1 o'clock to 9 p.m. And then Sunday is your offensive lineman. That goes from 1 to 5, all on the NFL Network. I'm assuming, Mike, unless something came up and says otherwise, I believe it's all.
Yeah, it's all on the NFL Network.
All weekend. Okay. So that is that, Mike. We got the death pool filled out.
Kathy Bates, come on, Kathy.
Of course,
I hate to see you go, but you know.
Michelle Trachtenberg, she did die from Euro Trip yesterday. Everybody was sad to see that. Gene Hackman last night. Of course, the famous actor, 95 years old, in his New Mexico home. Him, his wife, and his dog found dead. No foul play. It's suspected. So you hate to hear it, but Mike, that gives us the opportunity to go head to head for $50. You have Kathy Bates. I have the Pope. If either one of those die next, then we owe the other one $50. And if somebody dies that's a celebrity before then, it changes over. So after somebody dies, say, Joe Biden, then it shuts down and it will start over, and I don't have the Pope anymore. So, Mike, we are on. It's on like Donkey Kong. $50, Kathy Bates, Pope Francis. Let's do this.
Jesus Christ.
What else? Derpy. We're still accepting good thoughts on Derpy. Still sick. He got pneumonia, double ear infection. He got all kind of stuff going on. So keep him in your thoughts. I'd like to get him back as soon as we can. But my man,
he got to get better.
Got to get back.
I was going to be a jerk and put Derpy in my death pool, but I don't want to see that happen. I do not.
You know what? That was actually my very first thought as well.
Popped in there like that would be funny. I'm like, no, he's going through something right now, and I don't want to, you know.
And it would be the one time you would hit the death pool. You know what I mean?
The biggest piece of shit alive if that would happen. Like, as much as I love fucking with the guy, picking on him. Yeah. No, it's like making fun of your little brother. It's all in good fun.
Right.
Oh, Derby.
Mike, do you remember this guy? He was a Florida A&M guard back in 1994-96. We were talking about earlier in Black History Month just about some of the interesting names in pro sports. If you remember a couple weeks ago, this is a name that just kind of came up to me because we are down to our last couple of days of the month. Mike, this name, I don't know if you remember this, but listen to this name, Mike. Florida A&M guard from 94-96, Scientific Map. Do you remember this guy? For Florida A&M back in the 90s, his name was Scientific Map. His brother, he actually had a brother. His brother's name was Majestic Map.
I like it.
But Scientific
If you have a name like Map, last name Map, you got to do something funny with the first name, and I like it. I love it.
I would have thought it should be better than Scientific, because what's a Scientific?
I don't know, but Majestic is great. Majestic sounds like a point guard, like a point guard in the vein of Magic Johnson. He's going to do something great out there on the court. But Scientific Map, that's not a name I want for a starting guard.
Scientific Map.
Corey Beavers.
So there you go.
$50 is $50. That's the words I live by. Oh, Jesus!
So there
Christ.
you go, Mike. Scientific Map, Mike. Is he willing to try the urine in his ear? You know what? That's a very good question. I want to piss in Derpy's ear so bad since Jen gave me the idea. Well, I'm thinking to myself, it's fun. It would be fun to watch him pour his own
Yes,
urine into
yes.
his ear. But wouldn't it be funner to pee in
No,
his ear?
no.
I don't
Like,
know.
what the hell is
Call
wrong?
me crazy.
You're thinking about Jim Palmer while you're walking around the grocery store. You're thinking about peeing in Derpy's ear.
I don't think either one of those are weird. Let's see. Over enthusiastic Maud Caleb says, if Derpy dies, who inherits the Permane gift card and battery trained fire alarm?
I will have the fire
question.
alarm in my studio. I want that.
Yeah.
That thing belongs in the Smithsonian. By the way, that's where it's in, like, the Podcast Hall of Fame. It needs to be somewhere.
And we'll share. We'll divvy up the card.
Derpy.
And their black sheep cousin, Flat Earth Map.
I like that. That was a good one.
Good one. See, now that would be a good name, Flat Earth Map. People wouldn't get it, down the road, but you know what? I guess maybe Scientific Map made sense in the mid 90s and we just didn't get it. Mike, anything we do get ready to wrap up for the day?
Yeah. You know, like coaches, they love the first in, first out kind of guy. They like him until it comes to the bar on the campus corner. Coaches love a first in, last out kind of guy until it's a bar on the campus corner. Coaches want that guy who's first into practice.
I get it. You made a funny.
I saw that tweet come up. And I was sitting on it, and I butchered the.
All right. That was a passing grade.
It made me laugh when I read it.
Well, hey, you keep up the good work, the hard work, because at the end of the week, I expect you and everyone on the show to give me your email of 5 things that you did this week. So that's going to be
the. Well, we know yours. Jerk off to Pete and Derpy's ear. Touch myself to Jim Palmer.
Yes.
Yeah. You touch myself. You touched yourself to Michelle Tatchenberg.
I did.
You touch yourself to her corpse, and then you touch yourself to Gene Hackman's dead dog.
I gotta say that was one of my favorite.
I watched Euro Trip last night. I heard the news. My friend told me.
I like Cooper.
Oh, Cooper's great
on there, and the Scotty doesn't know. I mean that is a classic.
One of the best bits in that movie is everywhere they went, the different version of Scotty doesn't know. It was great. Yeah. It became a worldwide hit.
And then when they were going there, they were hitching the Berlin, and the guy just kept saying, "No Berlin," and they thought they were going to Berlin.
He's like, I stabbed a woman in the bar in Berlin. 9 Berlin.
Yeah. That when the dude was doing the hot chick in the Catholic confessional booth, that was one of my favorite parts because her ass was pressed right against the. That I liked whenever Cooper was the Pope.
It was Scotty was the Pope.
I thought Scotty was the Pope, and then also when they were on the train with the weird guy.
Excuse.
And they go through the tunnel and they come out and his pants were off. By far the 4 best parts of that movie right there.
It was like stuff. Every little beat was just outrageous and funny and stupid, but nothing was over the top. It was like a lot of it was like you can kind of get into some of these type of situations. I love the soccer hooligans. Yes, they were fucking great.
How can you not love the soccer hooligans?
Yeah. It was a damn good movie. I watched it. Like I said, I watched it last night, and it holds up.
I would consider it one of my top favorite 25 movies. If I thought of all the movies I've seen in my life, it would be one of my.
Yeah, overall, it's just an enjoyable movie from start to finish.
Are you banned from that grocery store, Ryan? I am not. I am not. You know what? I looked forward, but give me a second. Let me finish what I'm saying, Mike, before we get into that. I am not banned from the local grocery store, but I am banned from the local adult bookstore. Make it make sense. Corey does say, don't forget the safe word. That also is one of the best parts of the whole entire movie.
I was not.
It was long. Yeah. Whatever it was real long, and he couldn't say it. And then that monkey's in the corner smashing the cymbals and the dude.
Oh, fucking
classic, hilarious.
The movie. Cameo. I was not expecting Lucy Lawless to come out to be the madam of that establishment. Yeah. And then he yells for the safe word. They bust out. She's like, Hans Gruber, and they come in. That fucking big ass jackhammer splits in their 3 with the 3 dildos going after him.
Classic movie.
Great.
Classic. I love Euro Trip. Absolutely one of my top favorite movies. Again, Mike, top 25 on my
God,
list
yeah,
all
it's up
time.
there
No
for
two
me
ways
now
about
that
it.
I think about it. Of a movie that I can just watch and give. Yeah,
Yeah, I really liked it. It's a comedy. Everybody, if you haven't seen, check out Euro Trip. The woman that passed away yesterday, Michelle Trachtenberg. She was the twin sister, one of the main 4 or 5 actors in the movie. Good stuff. She was hot, pretty young in that, and good movie to
yeah,
check out. I do want to say thank you to everybody for hanging out and checking us out today. We do appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do this without you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. Thank you for everything that you do as well. Everybody at home, you as well. Tomorrow is the big episode 700 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Finch will be here tomorrow with us. Um, I mean, like I said, I'll keep up. It's day to day
yeah,
with Derpy. I'll see what's going on with him. But tomorrow, for sure, it'll be Finch, myself, Michael, for the big episode
yeah.
700, guys. 700. So we'll try to think of some different, some fun ideas tomorrow. Maybe give some stuff away for the big show. Also, everybody, the Combine, NFL Combine starts today, 3 p.m. It's going to be 5 hours, 3 to 8 over on the NFL Network. The defensive line, linebackers, and the place kickers will be working out today. Keep an eye on that. See if you can see your favorite players this week. Tomorrow for Friday, the defensive backs and tight ends. Saturday, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. And of course, on Sunday, the offensive linemen. Again, you're hearing all the names. Let's take a
Yep.
look at them, see how they look. And it won't be long, Mike. We'll be
I
picking them.
can't wait.
So the combine starts today. You do have the Penguins in town to take on the
Yep.
Flyers in town to take on the Penguins tonight on the home and home, second half of the home and home. Hopefully we beat them this time, Mike. Just to kind of save face,
Yeah,
I guess.
we need something.
It just sucks to lose to the
It does
Flyers.
too. It sucks losing to the Philadelphia scum.
I couldn't agree more. Let me just take a double quick look here, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I do got that. We got the death pool. All right, my man. I do believe that
That
is
is
everything for this
everything.
Thursday. We want to thank everybody one more time. I want everybody to have a great, safe Thursday. It's still warm here in Western PA. We're loving that. No two ways around it. What's your screen say, Mike? 50, almost 50
Almost 50, I
degrees.
believe. Yeah, 45, 45.
All right. You know what? That's been warm
That's a
lately. It's
heat
going to be
wave up
about
here.
45, 50. Sure is. We'll take it. But I do believe that is it, everybody. Thank you once again. Have a great, great Thursday. Keep an eye on the combine. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. Flyers, Penguins, and a lot more heading into the weekend, guys. So we hope to see everybody at the normal time tomorrow. For Mike in the Steeler Central Mobile Studio.